as we continue to track both tropical storm Marco and Laura. Here's another update video on both of those systems. And Marco has rapidly weakened. This really wasn't anticipated, but if we look now, winds of only, believe it or not, 40 mile per hour, and we were looking at a hurricane, I think, yesterday night. So really, really, really rapid weakening with this system, where we're getting extreme shear, which completely ripped apart the system. And as you can see, Marco expected to continue to produce some gusty winds. Now, if we look at the current track here from the National Hurricane Center, all warnings have been dropped. And in my opinion, this is no longer a tropical storm. Recon was not able to find any tropical storm winds. And there's 4 buoys around the system. None were able to find tropical storm force winds. So in my opinion, this is a 35 mile per hour tropical depression. Laura also has strengthened slightly, or weakened slightly, 1,001 millibars, 60 mile per hour. Here's the current track, and really this is what's really now more of the concern here. Hurricane watches are in effect all Houston, all the way to mid-Louisiana. And we also have tropical storm watches in effect for the rest of Louisiana. Now, here's the current track. It's expected to continue affecting Cuba before strengthening to a hurricane, making landfall, and then we might actually see it emerge back over the Atlantic Ocean. So maybe there's a slight chance it reforms there. So maybe it could reform if it's still intact over the Atlantic Ocean. There's a slight chance of that happening with this system there. We also now have tropical storm warnings for the Keys there, believe it or not. Not sure why. Not really sure why, because the wind field only extends so far out. It doesn't actually extend to the Keys. So the Keys probably won't see too much effect. Maybe for Key West there when it gets a little bit closer there. So those are really what we're looking at right now. Now, let's have a look at both of the storms. Here's a look at Tropical Storm Laura really starting to blow up more and more in convection there, if this is going to load for me. In this latest, it was struggling a little bit. It had a little bit of an open center. I think it was this morning or yesterday night. Now it's starting to really get its act back together as it continues south of, let me pause it. As it continues south of, as it continues south of Cuba there. So the center of circulation seems to be around here probably. And, you've got some nice spin, some nice bending to the system. And it's really looking pretty healthy there. A little bit more convection still on the southern side of the system, which is expected. And it is likely to continue to go through here, the southern tip of Cuba before moving into the Gulf. So it's crazy to imagine that we were originally anticipating the system to be all the way up there, and we've seen this drops a whole lot more south than we were originally anticipating this to be, but it has continued to blow up in convection with a new recent blow up over the center, which is going to help it continue to strengthen as it continues, and we might see actually the center go through this passage here between Cuba and Mexico, maybe potentially. Now, really quickly, if you look at Marco, it is looking it is looking terrible. Yes. Oh, this is Marco. This is Marco. The center of circulation is around here, according to the National Hurricane Center. And yes, this is Marco. Okay. So you can see why this is most likely not a tropical depression. But you can see that center of circulation around here, almost close to landfall in Louisiana. And really, the people getting the most impacts from this is the Florida Panhandle, which is the most likely to even get any tropical force winds or any rains. Louisiana is really not going to get anything from the system. So, that is good news, but you can see that swirl there, the center of circulation being right around here. By the way, ignore all those downloads here. I'm not sure why I'm getting so many downloads. But really, it's looking absolutely terrible. So, but of course, that is good news. Here's the current track for Laura, and as you can see, the models are very certain where this will head now. Most likely on the Texas-Louisiana border there. So if you're in there, prepare for a hurricane and prepare for a Category 3 hurricane. Prepare for a major hurricane. Thankfully, what we're getting is not as strong as we could be getting where we were originally anticipating two hurricane landfall in Louisiana with both Marco and Laura. So the situation is less worse than anticipated, but still prepare. Models are going up. We now have one, two, three models showing a Category 3. A couple models bringing it to Cat 2, and pretty much every single model bringing it to Category 1. So, it's pretty much sure this will become a Cat 1 at this point. So prepare for at least a hurricane, okay, guys? By the way, here's Marco really quick. And, like I said, it'll likely be dead very soon there um, with this system. So now let's have a look quickly at recon. We currently have a recon mission going into Laura. It's already finding 40 to 50, 40 knots in those outer bands there, so that could be one of the reasons they do have some tropical storm warnings there, as it is already finding close to 40 knots there. We also have another mission going to Laura, so two missions going into Laura currently. And then here's one into Marco, and again, as you can see, 1,007 millibars. And this recon mission was once again the strongest winds they found was 35 knots, which is shy of 40 knots, and they were really unable to find anything stronger than close to 40 mile per hour there, well away from the center, and really it's high level altitude, so they're really not finding anything. And again, the biggest chance for any strong winds are still in the Alabama, Florida panhandle there, because as you can see, as the center continues to move towards Louisiana, they're only going to get close to 20 knots, which is 25 mile per hour, which really isn't a whole lot. And if we look at the surface level, it's not going above 35 knots, which again is 40 mile per hour. So it's really, really, really dead. Here's another aircraft recon mission, and once again, it found very weak wind from this. So right now, all good news. All good news. At the moment, except for Laura, which is continuing to strengthen as we speak right now. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the reason why uh, Marco uh, died so quickly, I guess you could say. And this is mainly due to the wind shear. If I can show you guys this wind shear map, just so that you guys can get a better understanding of this. As you can see, it was in 50 knots of shear here, and it has been in. Let me change to yellow here. It has been in 30 to 40 knots of shear on its entire way through the Gulf, which is really its main reason. Shear from the westerly shear or easterly shear, which is why we're seeing all this convection away from the center. Now, right now, where Laura's headed, it is headed in 5 knots of shear, as you can see, which is good news. But not only is that, Marco also experienced some dry getting in the center. And really, the only problem we could be seeing for Laura is some dry coming in from the west there. But what's causing this extreme amount of wind shear is this trough here, which is starting to pull to the north, but we have a trough, and this trough is bringing humongous amounts of wind shear and dryer with it, which is really what we get. And Marco was in a constant fight between the shear there its entire way through the Gulf, and then around here it just fell apart. The shear got too strong and took over the center, and it sheared it apart. But it has been on a constant fight since it entered the Gulf with the shear. But then at this point, it could not. It seemed like it could not really take it anymore. And very quickly, what I want to show you guys with the shear here, before I end off this a little bit of a quicker video here than usual, by the way. Let's see here. Let me stop it at the end. you'll see what I'm talking about. One second, let me stop it here. Look at all this shear that got in the center of Marco here. All the shear here got wrapped in the center, and you can see it getting wrapped in. The center circulation is right here, so you can see all this shear. Not all this shear. I'm sorry. All this dry air plus the shearing. Look at this. Look how much this is sheared. This is sheared all the way to North Carolina. This is how much this is sheared. So not only did we get this getting sheared by 40 to 50 knots of shear in the atmosphere, but we also got a lot of very strong dry air here, those pinks and red, which is, what caused this system to weaken. Now, we do have a little bit of dry air coming from the west, which could inhibit the very strong development from Laura. But other than that, really, Laura does not have anything else in its way at the moment. So all good news once again. Now, quickly, let's take a quick look at the HWRF because it's been interesting to see because it has been the most aggressive model, and we still wonder if it could, be true as we continue. But here's the HWRF model calling for a hurricane in the next 24 hours. Honestly, I don't see it becoming a hurricane that fast, but definitely possible. Then becoming a major next 1 day and a half, which again, and making a Category 5 landfall there. So I'm not, again, I don't like saying it's impossible, but here's the IR simulated. This is the convection, and already right now it has more convection than this. So, but they do expect it to, as you can see here, become a hurricane and absolutely blow up into this monster Category 5 hurricane. Now, again, it might not happen, but look at the size of this thing. And I just like to keep the options on the table and to show you guys prepare for the worst with this system. Get your hurricane plan ready. If you're, from Houston, Texas, pretty much if you're anywhere from here to Louisiana, the entire coast of Louisiana here, this is where you should prepare. If you live anywhere from this entire coast of Louisiana, all the way down there to Texas, you should prepare. Even a little bit in Alabama there, you guys should prepare because we don't know. Could get here, could go here, could go here. So just prepare for the worst. Prepare for the worst for this system because we just don't know. But it could be a tropical storm. It could be a Category 5 hurricane. So, that is why I'm telling you guys this. But as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and, keep watch my videos daily to keep updated on the latest to see what could impact your current location.